This week on It's Happening Out. Why does God hate gays?
Obey God.
Caitlyn Jenner becomes a mom at 70.
A long road, to say the least. But I have to admit that now, after all of
Mass shootings in the U.S., 250th for 2019. You are straight or gay, period. It's all happening out tonight. Join us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. With our host panel, lifestyle expert Napoleon plays, trans activist Aaron Phoenix, president of Gays for Trump Andrew Brett, reality star Chef Josie, DJ Diva Power Infiniti, DC Log Cabin Republican Joe Brookman, and our moderator Al Ferguson. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
Yeah. Well, good evening, America.
Welcome.
And welcome to another episode of It's Happening Out, America's most popular live gay talk show. And we are coming tonight, of course, from world-famous Wilton Drive in Wilton Manors, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and our lovely, lovely home, Bubbles and Pearls, Chef Josie's
Bubbles and
restaurant.
Pearls.
Woo, yeah.
We affectionately say we're broadcasting from the gayest place on planet Earth, and Bubbles and Pearls is a perfect location for that. And Josie, thank you very much for having us.
Oh, my pleasure.
We want to tell you many things tonight. First off, we're very excited. We remind you we're a live show, so everything that you're going to see is live. Anything can happen, and it probably and usually does. So stay tuned for the craziness that's going to happen. We want to, first off, right at the top of the show, thank one of our principal sponsors, and that is the Big Coconut Guest House here in South Florida.
Yes.
We always encourage people to come to South Florida and experience the gay lifestyle, and the Big Coconut is a great place for you to stay. Power Infiniti and Aaron stay there every week because they don't live here in South Florida. When are y'all moving to South Florida, by the way? It's about time.
You just get here, you're trying to get everyone down here with you. That's the Florida way.
Exactly.
It's gay enough here without us.
That's true. It is gay enough. All right. So we encourage you, share us if you would. If you like the gay and topical content you're going to hear tonight, let your friends know about it. In fact, we encourage you to start a watch party. And my friend Napoleon here has created a little video package to tell you how to do that. Watch this.
When viewing our live show in your app, please click share. After clicking share, your screen should change and you can then click watch party. On the next screen, you can write text to your viewing audience and then click start watch party. You've done it. Enjoy your party.
Okay, America, that's as easy as that.
Yeah.
Start a watch party and let people know what you're doing. Also, we encourage you to like and subscribe us on YouTube. By the way, everybody heard? 531,000 of you have watched It's Happening Out. We're really, really excited.
That's amazing.
Let's dive right into this. We always begin with the meme of the week. Now, did y'all realize there's a lot of political and kind of tough stuff going on this week?
Yeah.
So we've decided to have equal time. Our first meme of the week is brought to you by the Republican National Committee. The first meme of the week shows you how many Democrats does it take to change a light bulb? The answer, of course, none. They'd rather sit in the dark and blame it on Trump. Brought to you by the Republican National Committee.
Fully agree.
But we charged equally to the Democratic National Committee, and so we have a second meme of the week. Look at this one, and it's about one of our topics tonight, God, and why does God hate gays? Just a friendly reminder about Jesus. He wasn't white, he wasn't Christian, hung out with a bunch of single guys, befriended prostitutes, and wore a dress. Brought to you by the Democratic National Committee. We love that. All right, those are our memes of the week. We also start the top of our show in a fun way. We like to show you what is the best thing of the week. Now, what's one of the great gay stereotypes? Tell me a great gay stereotype.
Flamboyancy.
Flamboyancy.
Yeah,
Promiscuous.
Promiscuous.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Creative.
Being late. All of these things and more.
the list.
Our best thing of the week. We prepared this for you. Watch this. You're going to enjoy it.
Shit! My Uvu Dover driver is here! Let me out, you son of a bitch!
Where are you going?
To get more poppers. The fuck else gets me out of the house?
You said you're gonna give me a ride home!
I also said I had a car too, dumbass. Now climb out the back so the driver thinks I'm single.
You only care about yourself!
Sorry, did I fuck a man or a bitch? Be right there. I can't just go out with these trash glasses. Too Elton, too lads, too big, too Chinese. Had it right the first time. On my way there. What if I get hungry on the drive? I suppose I do have time for a snack. If I just bring him a couple, he'll forget he was even waiting.
You never make meat cookies?
Well, you never make me come. 5 minutes, that's like an hour. Give it to me, Insta. Fuckable, still fuckable. No, he's getting fat. Hello.
Girl, what you doing? I got tea.
Oh, girl, my Uvu Dover driver's gonna leave in 2 minutes.
Well, that's like 30 minutes. I'll be right over.
Kidding, it's been forever.
It's been 2 days.
It's my driver.
What's he saying?
He's gonna leave in 1 minute.
Oh, good, so we have time to change that outfit.
That's right. How these pants make my ass look.
Fat.
I was waiting for you to notice. I can't let my driver see me with hair like this. I'm gonna make an appointment. I say keep up that language and I'm starting an OnlyFans. Oh, they got a new Star Wars. Chewie should have just sucked his dick. Ooh, a new BuzzFeed survey.
Your driver's honky, bro.
And I'm trying to figure out what kind of gay I am. Why am I here? I don't even need to shit. So why don't I see you with Dawn anymore?
Oh, he died weeks ago.
That'll do it.
You don't love me anymore.
I met you last night, you fucking homo.
I don't know why people go to therapy when they could just dye their hair.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna write a song. Shit! My driver's still waiting. One day I'll be famous. They just don't let you have followers on Grindr yet. Here, douche with this. I want that dirty ass looking like Palm Springs by the time I get in that fucking car, so you got about an hour. Pop her palace and step on it. I'm in a hurry. You're leaving the house dressed like that? Is it trash? Oh, the outfit is terrible. I'm gonna run back inside and change it. It'll get up before it gives me a seizure. All right, I'll just be a moment. Take your time. I'm gonna start Game of Thrones.
All right.
I guess that explains why there were cameras
Oh,
following
my
me.
God.
Yes, were they? All right.
I find everything. I'm
That
that
is
all the
every
time.
gay man's drug dealer.
Yes. Yes. Be right there. Is this, I'm really curious, the gay gene that we all talk about, is this a reflection of being gay and our gay gene? Is there truth to
I
this
didn't know I
video?
could blame it on being gay, because that's definitely me. Like, to a
Yeah?
I was gonna say ask Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a read
Raise your
about
hand if you've ever been
timeliness.
victimized by Aaron's lateness.
Yeah. All right.
Oh my God.
All right.
Or Josie's. Don't worry, you're not in the
So
boat
it's
by
the best
yourself.
thing of the week. We hope you enjoyed that. We'll bring something like that to you every week. Now, we remind you, we're going to give you the watch party. Share us with your friends. Make sure the gay kind of stuff that we show you when it's happening out, you're sharing with your friends. Start a watch party or share us right now. Let's now play a game. And this is one of my favorite parts of the show because I get to drink.
Yeah.
And that makes y'all tolerable to me. So we're going to play
I'm just practicing.
I'd Swallow That. It's our drinking game. We encourage you, America, to play at home. I'd Swallow That. It's an agree or disagree game. And we're going to ask, Al is going to ask a question. And if you agree, you take the shot. If you don't touch the shot. And we encourage you, play at home with water or vodka or beer, whatever you'd like to do.
Whatever you want to swallow.
That's my favorite bird, you know.
That's a totally different kind of game.
That too.
Play it
Yeah.
that way.
Totally
Round
different game.
one.
All right. I'd Swallow That. Everybody know how we're going to do it?
Yeah.
We've done it for almost a year, so you know how to do it. All right.
We got
I'd
this.
Swallow That. Question number 1. I'd swallow that. I have slept with a celebrity.
Gulp.
All right. I know Top Chef, reality star, and international circuit DJ has. We'll come back to you in a moment. But I want to turn to the president of Gays for Trump.
I plead the fifth.
Oh no! Come on. Spill the tea, as the youngins call it.
Was it Stormy Daniels?
Stormy Daniels.
It was Mike Pence.
All right, he's not going to tell us.
This one's really going to throw you all off, okay?
All right.
All right. But you know who Fela Kuti is?
What?
Oh, you see, now we're going deep, okay?
All right.
But Fela Kuti is like a revolutionary African singer, activist. You know who Fela Kuti is, right? Well, I just happened to hang out with one of his number 2 man.
I'm so disappointed in that
I've heard
story
the story
because
before.
if you followed It's Happening Out and Chef Josie, you know sometime in every show the word Bono is going to come out of her mouth. I was really thinking
It
that's
wasn't
where we're
Bono.
going.
I passed.
Did you think Bono went into her mouth?
No,
too?
Power, anything you want to share?
Not really.
No?
I mean,
All right.
well, no, I'll share. This is
All right.
going to be the first time I've ever said this, but I slept with Clive, I think.
Davis?
Clive Davis.
Clive Barker.
Clive Barker.
Yes,
oh,
Clive Barker.
Wow. Very interesting. I took 2, and also I would say I'm friends with a lot of drag queens, a lot of famous drag queens. That's all I got to say.
Oh.
All right.
my
Question
God.
number 2.
Well,
Wait,
True.
Al has slept with drag queens?
Yeah, and they get too drunk, and
Yes.
people. There's all these
Yeah.
stories in the news of the producer taking advantage of the
And drag queens
and
are
now
always
we know
top,
from where
dude.
it comes.
Dude.
So I have,
All
I,
right.
have to, I have to be careful when I'm around you now.
Yes, exactly.
Got it.
That's why
All
you
right.
sit all the way over there, and I
Question-
sit over here to protect you.
Question number 2. I'd swallow that. Question 2. I'd swallow that.
Dun, dun.
I could never date or have sex with anyone of the opposite political party.
So I could never.
Date,
I
have
don't
sex
believe
with-
you.
You
at
just
all.
wouldn't date or have sex with somebody.
He took a
Andrew,
shot.
you couldn't do it.
Date?
The
No.
snowflakes melt away for you sexually.
He said date
Bye.
or sex.
All right.
Well, bye.
And y'all could. Everyone else could.
Not date.
Now, does that?
Yeah.
But you could have sex. Does
Yeah.
that say that the liberals are better than the conservatives? Did we just identify
We get better blowjob.
I think we're more liberal.
more liberal, right? Wait, let me broaden the question. How about if it was other big issues like a LGBTQ letter that we represent or pet peeves, etc.? We have these kind of issues. Could we overcome those and date or have sex
Wait,
with them?
you mean like having sex with somebody that doesn't like gay guys?
And could be. And if you do that, could you do it?
So one
Wait.
time on a previous, I'd swallow
Wait,
that.
nobody's drinking. Nobody agreed? Nobody? I'm sorry, go ahead.
rude.
I'm
One-
drinking.
One time on a previous, I'd swallow that. You asked, do we have a secret that our co-host would judge us harshly for?
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
I said no, and it turned out I was wrong. Power, you don't even
Drum
know.
roll.
This is
Drum roll.
literally
Drum
my
roll.
deepest, darkest
We're
secret.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen of America, welcome to MSNBC, and now we lean in.
I always said it was going to come up one day. Tomcat voted for Trump.
Oh my gosh. That's like everything against who you
Well,
are.
why didn't you take the drink? Because you're
Because
dating.
apparently I could.
Oh,
So-
all right.
that-
Good.
I didn't know until after we were had been dating a while. Okay, he dropped this bomb on me, and he has since seen the error of his ways.
Tomcat
flipped him.
is
You flipped
Aaron
him.
Phoenix's boyfriend. Is that how you identify boyfriend? Yeah.
I would just like to add that
Oh, you're so cute.
if I knew going into it that the person was a Republican or what have you, I wouldn't. But if I was already deep throating the bitch, at that point,
Really?
I'd have
Nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
All
was
right.
a lot of that
Thumbs up.
going on.
I mean,
We-
but also
by the
sex
way-
is dating, you know.
By
sex.
the way, what Power just said, we learned nothing about him.
Ha!
Learned nothing. All right, question number 3, because we already knew that, by the way. All right, question number 3. I'd swallow that. Question 3. Seeing people in certain articles of clothing, like a jockstrap or high heels, really turns me on. Clothes make the man or the woman
Well, they make
or the whatever.
There is so much that you can get into in terms of fetishizing anything. Basically, any kind of clothing can be fetishized. And if somebody knows how to work it, it's sexy. You can make anything sexy. I stand by that. Even you, Al.
Wait,
even you.
I want to tell you something. First off, dude, I know about Alpha and what's the
Omega.
other one?
My Sir and my Alpha, but it doesn't sound like you know very well.
I know, because I interviewed them at the Elizabeth Warren rally.
It's true.
Okay,
You did.
I just want to say something about The Boys on Amazon Prime. The Superman character is horrible, but he represents himself in a way in terms of what he wears that I could totally. So what you said is true.
I just want them out of their clothes.
Other articles of clothing that you want to...
I love strappy lingerie.
Really? Lingerie on a woman or a man?
As long as it's strappy, it don't matter.
I've been watching Pose these days, and I'm getting a little, trans curious.
Fluidity.
All right.
Trans curious. I love that
I
phrase.
got some friends to hook you up.
I have not heard that. Wait, that shot just kicked in as we speak. All right, trans curious. I love that. Okay, that's our game. I'd swallow that. Let's move on. We're going to move into celebrity hot topics. Many this week. First, Caitlyn Jenner and her trans girlfriend, Sophia Hutchins. Caitlyn Jenner is going to be a mom. At 70 years old, she has decided she wants a child. And she announced it this week. She hasn't done it yet. We don't know if it's insemination. We don't know if it is surrogacy. We don't know this situation. I'm going to have to concentrate very much. Y'all help me, by the way.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
So far.
Caitlyn Jenner has decided to be a mom. Any thoughts?
Wait, I'm confused by this. I thought there was like a whole brand devoted about keeping up with her children.
Right?
Like, watch my children. Does she not watch her children? Doesn't she have a whole bunch of them already? Like 50?
Caitlyn Jenner has 10 children.
A lot of them.
Via direct insemination.
She's creating an army.
Yes.
Of voters, so you know.
All
right. But so now she wants to be a mom because she was a dad to those.
What do y'all think about 70-year-old Caitlyn wanting to be a mom?
We don't. We don't think about her.
I think it's very.
I think it's fine if she wants to be a mother and she wants to raise more kids. But personally, I just don't care about Caitlyn Jenner in general.
Yeah.
You don't care.
We don't claim her.
About her in general.
All right.
I think it's very disingenuous and very selfish because she's going to be 90 when the kid's 20. And what kind of interaction are they going to have? It's very selfish and self-serving, and I disagree with it.
Look at the slide we're looking at of Caitlyn. I said this in the production office. I cannot see the picture that we're looking at right now with her girlfriend, Sophia Hutchins, without thinking of Bruce Jenner. Is it inappropriate? I'm serious. Is it inappropriate that I look at this feminine issue but think about Bruce Jenner? Is that inappropriate?
I think it's honest. You know what I mean? And we're trained, we're kind of conditioned to see certain things and to associate that with masculinity or femininity. So we do that immediate bias kind of thing. But you know, it's ingrained in us. What matters is what you do with the next thought. You know, if you turn around and say and make that an issue and victimize somebody over it, obviously problem. If you turn around and kind of challenge your own thoughts and say, who taught me that? Why do I think that way? You can subvert that.
All right.
Question, Al, is it when you say that, is it because you're so used to knowing her as Bruce Jenner, so you still see Bruce Jenner? Or is it because
I'm looking at a slide right now of Caitlyn and the partner Sophia Hutchins, but who I'm seeing is Bruce Jenner.
Yeah, I agree with you, Al.
In the face.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm seeing Bruce Jenner.
You're still the same person after you transition. You know what I'm saying? It's still you. And just like you can look at an adult that maybe you knew when they were a kid, and you still see that little kid in their face, it works the same way. They're not that little kid anymore. They're a different person now.
Yeah.
But you're still your history is still your history.
Yeah.
When I first
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When I first saw she was in the news, I thought it was going to be something like South Park, where she was unhappy with her transition and was going to say something else to move back. So I'm glad that it's at least a realistic problem or point of conversation.
Other celebrity hot topics. Let's talk about Laverne Cox.
Woo! Woo! Yeah! Woo! Yeah!
My goodness.
Now her I
Laverne
care about.
Cox makes history this week because she is on the cover of Vogue.
Yes.
Yeah,
Go
that's
get your
incredible.
copy right
Trans
now.
woman
job, girl.
ever on the cover of Vogue.
All right.
Now, the reason this is important, America, is the September issue really is the broadcast of the most important season in fashion, and Laverne Cox is
Boom.
on the cover.
You mean like the start of the fashion season?
the start of the
Yeah.
fashion season.
Yeah.
Does the fashion industry care that Laverne Cox is trans, or do they care at all? As long as she is beautiful, that's enough. What do you think?
I think they absolutely care, and that's why they're trying to uplift and center these marginalized voices that haven't been heard before. And you know something? This brought tears to my eyes because, and I'm not one big for celebrities, but it's dehumanizing as hell to know that every news story you open up about people who are like you or similar to you are going to contain a body count. Trans women of color are not just the headlines and the body counts. They're also living and thriving and breaking boundaries and busting through glass ceilings and redefining the standards of beauty.
Excellent.
Make no mistake. Make no mistake. Her cover was a statement, and it was a bold statement on Vogue's part.
Excellent.
Yeah, hats
Yeah.
off.
Other celebrity news this week is Titus. Titus was on Andy Cohen this week, and Andy Cohen, according to Titus, inappropriately asked questions about his relationship of his new movie Co-Star. And Andy Cohen basically went for the popcorn moment of the Gossip Girl moment.
Yeah.
And Titus read him to filth. You see the first slide, and then you see the second slide we prepared of what he said in Instagram, which is basically calling him out as a messy queen. And look at our highlights here of what he said in Instagram. What do y'all think about this in terms of Andy Cohen is an institution in the gay community?
Let me jump in on this one because I am of the Bravo family, so maybe I have a little something to say about it. Listen, that's what Bravo is about. It's about drama. All the shows are about drama. Even Top Chef was about drama. Sometimes we lose focus of what the show is actually about. I am totally behind Titus on this one because sometimes you got to check people. And as a recipient of some of the Bravo shade, I understand exactly how this gets out of control.
Let me, a sidebar here. You were the villain in Top Chef, weren't you?
Season 10, I know.
Season 10, you're the villain.
How does that even happen?
Wait, let me answer that question.
impressed,
I
actually.
know that. Chef Josie was the villain because you're a bitch.
I'm a bitch.
No, I'm only kidding.
No, but that's exactly what I'm saying. We can take what is being filmed and it gets all twisted up and edited to tell a story. That's what production is. Bravo has made a lot of money on building and creating television programming that is dramatic and controversial. Andy Cohen, love you, Andy, but you have also built your career on promoting shame and promoting shade and promoting drama. And so, you know what, Titus, hats off to you. That's right, you won 4 Emmys, and you did it for your acting. Don't forget, stay focused.
And the question to that is, why is it that the gay community, gay America, loves a Titus and Andy Cohen squaring off against each other?
'Cause we love
Why
drama.
do we need that? We love drama.
Well, but
That's
people
right.
love
Is that
drama.
it?
Yes,
People
that's
love
it.
Simple as that?
Yes, that's it.
It's just as simple
That's
as
it.
that.
Yes.
Thank you,
Just-
Power.
Just as much as straight
Call it
people.
let's just call it what it is. We love shade.
All right. Speaking of drama, other big celebrity news of the week. Barbra Streisand.
Oh my
This
God.
weekend, Barbra Streisand did a concert at Madison Square Gardens. And at Madison Square Gardens, she rewrote the words for her iconic song, Send in the Clowns, the Stephen Sondheim song. Watch what she did. Watch this.
He says he's rich. Maybe he's poor. Till he reveals his returns, who can be sure? another verse, okay? Something's amiss. I don't approve. Now that he's running the free world, where can we move? Name me a town. Just who is this clown? No, we don't have a bridge, but I have another verse. Want to hear it? One more verse. This is no farce. It's not just smoke. Is this his art of the deal or some awful joke? You've got to admit this fraudulent twit is so full of You know, that was meant to be a funny song, but what's going on just isn't very funny, because it would take me all night long to recite 11,000 lines, you know what I mean? But there's a line by Oscar Wilde that kind of describes this person. And the line is, he's a man who knows the price of everything, but the value of nothing.
Dude, everything.
I'm very excited. I've seen Barbra Streisand in concert twice. Amazing.
Andrew, you don't have to clap if you don't
Now,
want to.
and here's my
It was a country
contractual...
club clap.
Wait, guys. Don't get ahead of me. Here's my contractual obligation. Andrew Brett, this is a little-known secret, is such a fan of Barbra Streisand that I am required by contract on anything that has to do with Barbra Streisand to come to him first. Tell us why you love Barbra so much.
Well, it looks like Babs has been eating the Breyers vanilla bean ice cream way too much. And she's as big as a house.
All right. Okay, that's his observation of Barbara. Anybody else? Any thoughts about what she just did about Donald?
I thought she
Well,
Never
Aaron,
mind.
if anybody knew anything about Barbra Streisand, if they researched her, they would know that Breyers vanilla bean ice cream is her favorite.
All right.
Okay.
and all the flavors in Breyers is Trump's favorite.
Yes,
Well-
exactly right. He's a big boy. All right,
We're
let's move
fattening
on.
on the show
Other
tonight.
celebrity hot topics. Mr. Rogers.
Oh.
We decided this week we needed a little bit pick-me-up, a little positive pick-me-up.
Yay.
And Tom Hanks came to the rescue. Watch this about Mr. Rogers.
Hello, neighbor.
Hey, I'm looking for Fred Rogers. In here.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Please won't you be my neighbor? Hello, neighbor.
You okay?
Profiling Mr. Rogers.
Boyd, please don't ruin my childhood.
We are trying to give the world positive ways of dealing with their feelings.
Yeah? Like what?
There are many things you can do. You can play all the lowest keys on a piano at the same time.
You love broken people. Like me.
Sometimes we have to ask for help. Best thing we can do is to let people know that each one of them is precious.
Hey, Mr. Rogers. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Please won't you be my neighbor?
was wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow, with this week and all the things going on in the news, it only takes one person to inspire kindness.
Yeah.
I watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood every single week.
Yeah.
Any thoughts about
yeah.
what you just saw?
I'm so upset that they cast Tom Hanks in the role of Mr. Rogers.
What? He looks just like him.
He may look like him, but he's such an unlikable actor. Everything he does, I know that I might be in the minority, fine, but Tom Hanks is not very likable in his roles.
But
He's only likable when he plays the mean aggressor, like in League
I
of
thought
Their
he
Own.
did a phenomenal job. I thought he was Mr. Rogers.
I think you're right.
Like he's
I
the
think-
mean
I
character
thi-
actor.
I think you're right. You are in the minority.
Oh.
Thank you.
Whatever. I can still. I love Mr. Rogers.
Wait,
I can't believe
Power
that it's him.
soundbite. We'll let it sit there.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts about Mr. Rogers?
He's everybody's favorite white guy. He's probably the only white male who hasn't sexually assaulted somebody in Hollywood.
Let me tell you why this movie is going to do fantastic. In the production center, we fought to keep this in the show because the show was so full tonight with so many really harsh topics.
Yeah.
And everyone watched this and said, "Oh, it's so good." And it stayed in the show. because
Well,
of that.
just in case you guys don't know, my wife, Marcy Miller, that's my very own Mr. Rogers. Okay?
All right, other celebrity news. Pose. It broadcast last night. We're talking about it today. Why is that? You're seeing the slide.
Oh my God.
Oh
Get shut down
my
for that.
goodness.
Hello, Power.
Everyone's social media was full of Pose information this morning. And that is because Billy Porter got in bed with a 20-something-year-old. The 20-something-year-old was diagnosed with AIDS. It was a very graphic bed sexual scene. They reached out and touched each other, and you knew exactly where they were reaching out, and it was incredible. Now, the question of all of the response to Pose last night is, were we watching racism in action? Two beautiful, a 20-something, a late 40-something. Sorry, Billy. But were we watching racism in Pose last night? What do y'all think?
In what way?
I don't understand.
We're watching racism.
The sheer fact of why there is so much reaction to a sexual scene between two black men. Because after all, American Horror Story did the exact scene that they did last night 8 years ago, but it was two gay white men. What's the big deal in terms of what we saw last night on Pose?
I think we're just in a place right now in our society where everything is wrong, and when you have half of the United States thinking one way and half of the U.S. thinking another way. When this comes on TV, not only is it FX's commitment to being maybe even controversial, but it also pokes at the environment that we're living in the moment. And so if there's outbursts, I think it's just because it's another example of how we're like so divided on because who cares?
And, everybody has raped the word racism as they've raped the word fuck. It has no meaning anymore.
Rape has meaning.
It has no
firstly.
meaning.
Rape definitely
it might
has
not
meaning.
have any meaning if you're white.
No, rape
and
has
have
meaning.
Have never experienced racism.
Exactly.
Trust me, those of us who have experienced racism know that you can't rape the word enough.
But today it's racism, racism, racism. Everything is racism, racism. They've taken that painful word away from you, Power.
No, they have not.
Well, I
Actually, we cannot.
The
say-
media has taken that word away from
We
you.
cannot. The media can't say it enough because racism exists so exponentially, and it's not acknowledged enough. We cannot say the word enough, and when people start to acknowledge that it's actually a problem, then maybe you could say it's rape.
I'm not sure if I think this is racism, though I haven't seen it. I think of it more as people being uncomfortable with the age gap between them. I know that I've been in relationships with people that are substantially older, and that often, especially in this community,
I
is seen as
continue
frowned
to
upon.
tell you to back off, dude. Back off, because I'm significantly older, but back
just
off.
to let, one, you are significantly older, and two, I know that your boyfriend knows I'm after that D after every episode.
You're no
My hand flies right up there. I
Al,
like to have a
you're
little
no Billy
fun.
Porter.
Yeah,
If you wore his
that's true.
dresses, I'd be interested.
No, I don't think it's a racist thing. Right now it's a gay thing. I don't even think race has anything to do with this particular scenario because I think it has more to do with the gay thing. We're still the enemy, and that's what's going on right now.
I think one exclamation point that we can all agree on. Angels in America, for example, the Broadway show and the miniseries, etc. If you watch, and I have seen this, and I've seen this scene. If you watch this scene, you realize, wow, we have really moved to a new level because the sensuality of this moment is it's almost art in how two men can embrace each other.
Well, Josie, you made a very important point with one specific word you used, and that was the word enemy. Yes, gays, the LGBT community in general are still very much seen as the enemy, but on a large scale, black men are still very much seen as an enemy. You know, look at police shootings of unarmed men over the last however many years, and that will tell you that, yes, they are also seen as the enemy. So there's this thing called intersectionality, right, where you're a member of this group that's oppressed and you're a member of this group that's oppressed, and those things overlap in ways that anybody else who's not in those intersections might not get.
Wait, so that
brings our
intersectionality.
segment of Celebrity Hot Topics to an end, and we move on to headlines. And there are some big headlines this week. Of course, first and top of the pyramid is the mass shootings. Over the weekend, on Saturday and Sunday, in El Paso, 22 people killed at a Walmart, 24 injured. The next day in Dayton, Ohio, 9 killed and 27 injured. This is the 255th mass shooting in 2019. And by the way, on our broadcast date, which is August 7th, 2019, we are at 221 days. Shocking. Within 13 hours of each other, let's set the groundwork in terms of a very interesting observation that Lester Holt from NBC made on Monday. Watch this.
Allow me, if you will, some final thoughts before we leave you tonight. Outrage, sadness, grief, and anger, and raw numbness are among the emotions our country is wrestling with tonight. Our collective sense of safety strained to the breaking point by 2 mass shootings in the span of about 13 hours. And we are long past the days when we could say it can't happen here, because El Paso is here, Dayton is here, Gilroy is here. We're all tired of having to watch communities like these go through the well-worn rituals of shock, pain, vigils, and talk. Lots of talk and few answers. We're tired of asking why. But there is too much to lose for us to succumb to numbness and despair. And what we can't forget is that this, sadly, is common, but it is not normal.
Well, as you know, flags all over America are at half-mast. Many of us at this table have been affected by Pulse. I'm kind of oblivious to or numb to a response to mass shootings. We want to also show you what some of the responses have been. We give you Ohio State GOP lawmaker Candace Keller. She had a tweet and a Facebook post, and we put that in front of you now, of what she says is the blame of why these mass shootings are taking place. We highlight it for you. The reason we should place the blame where it belongs. The breakdown of the American family. Thank you, transgendered, homosexual marriage, and drag queen advocates. This is a Republican state lawmaker that says it's our community to blame for mass shootings. Now, I'm just going to summarize, if you look at this slide, the other things that basically are the Republican talking points, I think, for November 3rd, 2020. Here's the reason why mass shootings are taking place, and this is the Republican playbook for the election. Violent video games, border issues, marijuana, student conduct and failed school teachers, hatred of veterans, Democrats broadly, non-Christians broadly, the lack of support of the Second Amendment and guns, and snowflakes. That's what she summarizes. Finally, we want to show you something in terms of statistical fact. And this is the shooting statistics slide of the number of mass shootings that took place under each president since Ronald Reagan. In the last 2 years, mass shootings have skyrocketed. We are on track, of course, at 255 this year of an all-time record. So, in general, what do y'all think about what's happened this week?
Okay, well, hold on. I was the one that had asked for that slide to be put up. So since that slide is already up, let me just go ahead and talk about that slide. That slide right there is, it's a graph that shows right now an average of 2.4 mass shootings per year under Ronald Reagan, 2.3 under George W. Bush, 3.6 under both Bill Clinton and George W. Bush, and the rate jumps up to 5.1 per year under Obama, and 7.9 per year so far under Trump, which is a roughly 50% increase. In terms of raw numbers, that's 41 shootings in the 8 years Obama was in office, compared to 20 already in the 2.5 under Trump. So for me, let this be the soundbite. I blame Trump partly for these mass shootings. It is not a coincidence that we have these numbers spiked while he is in office. He has really not done anything for gun control or to curb these mass shootings, and in fact has helped to propagate and to really perpetuate this type of violence through his rhetoric, through his inspiration, and through his action.
He's doing worse than that right now. Now he's getting into the territory of saying, oh, well, social media is to blame, so we should probably govern that a little bit.
Social media, video games.
Social media and video games, which have absolutely nothing to do with it. That has been brought up historically for so many years. There's no study that say that video games have anything to do with acts of violence. Okay. Maybe there is with MAGA and actual violence. But it's absolutely crazy to think that. Right now, I'm just waiting to see what he happens to try to stay in office more than 4 years.
Any other thoughts about what we've watched this week?
We are seeing a psychos of hatred in this country. 70% of these shooters come from broken homes without fathers. President Trump did not pull the fucking trigger.
Neither did Marilyn Manson.
And not one member,
Neither did Marilyn Manson.
And not one member of the NRA was a Republican that pulled the trigger on any of these mass shootings from 2006. They all have been Democrats.
Wasn't this guy a Republican?
No, they all have not.
Every one of them.
No, they all have.
Yes, they have.
No, they haven't.
Do your research.
No,
Okay,
I did my research.
listen. The truth of the matter is, okay, as you can see, the numbers spiked, noticeably, even when Obama got into office.
And nobody blamed Obama for the mass
Hold
murders
on.
of
Let me
his
finish what I'm
administration,
saying.
But they're
okay?
blaming Trump.
Let me finish
Hold
what
on.
I'm saying. You might actually agree with me, okay? What's going on is we're seeing racism in general bringing its little face to the surface. It came up with Obama because it was the first black president we had ever elected in 43 presidents, okay?
Black cops, how do you want them? We want them in pigs in the blank and fry them up.
Let me finish. When we started seeing this kind of spike in mass shootings, it's because the racism that lives in and we have allowed to be nurtured in the soil of this country
And Obama promoted that.
has now been watered by Donald Trump. You understand?
No,
Yes.
it was Obama who created the racism,
Yes.
divided this country.
Even
We have a
that's
white
true.
supremacist in the White House. And
You know,
let me tell you
there is
something
no
else.
white supremacy
We have a
except in the Democratic
we have
liberal
a white
media.
supremacist in the White House.
That's
And
the liberal media
mass
that is
shooters-
racist.
Okay,
And
we
mass
heard you.
shooters, let me tell you something else. Mass shooters are not quoting video games. They're not quoting Call of Duty. They're not quoting Grand Theft Auto. They're not quoting Fortnite. They're not quoting drag queens.
Shoot up the
They're
fucking cops.
They're
Shoot up the
quoting.
cops.
They are
Let me-
quoting the president,
let
the
me-
racist in chief.
That's important to remember.
Absolutely.
Howard said.
May I
Period.
take the table back?
Period. Point
May I
blank.
take the table back?
Huh.
Let me point out that Japan has the most aggressive consumed violent video game history in the entire planet. Japan consumes more violent video games than any country in the world and has absolutely among the lowest gun deaths in the world. They are not connected at all. It is a point blank lie. You can lie and lie and lie.
And you are.
And it doesn't make it true. One last thought. on our gun violence this week. I want to mention Walmart. My friends at Walmart. 22 people were murdered in Walmart on Saturday, and 27 people were injured. Walmart has a policy where they have already said, we will not stop selling guns in that Walmart. So soon, when that Walmart reopens, you will be able to buy your gun in close proximity to where 22 people were murdered.
Wow.
In addition, Walmart has said that they will not change their policies on concealed weapons. And in 17 states, you will be able to walk into their Walmart with the gun on your hip.
Good.
Now, as a result, the memory of those 22 people that were killed Saturday in the Walmart will be disrespected by every single person that walks into a Walmart tomorrow.
You're wrong. Why is it in the video when he's coming in, he's in camouflage pants, and all of a sudden, all the videos went blank?
Andrew.
And then when he was
the only person at this table, the only person at this table that is directly affected by mass gun violence, Pulse, just told you, if you walk into a Walmart tomorrow, Walmart says 22 people were killed over in the corner of this room, but by your gun. There is no possible...
He could have been taken out before the other 20 people were
Please don't talk over me. There is no possible justification. Walmart could say, in these circumstances, in this Walmart, we will no longer sell guns. They cannot do it. It is the ultimate disrespect to the thousands of people since Columbine that have been killed in gun violence, and no one dare justify the bullshit that we are listening to.
And the
That's
bullshit
the end
is
of the
it was a
conversation
Muslim
on
at
guns.
Pulse that
We
murdered those people.
are going on to the other headline topic, which is Gay Star News. Completely different. The most important, or one of the most important gay media outlets in the world closed this week, and it's called the Gay Star News, and we're showing you this. However, they shocked everybody by saying in their closure why they were closing. They had many problems. We're showing you a slide here, and basically we highlight their big points. Let me summarize what the issues were. Gay Star News said, and I have quoted at It's Happening Out in the last year, Gay Star News over and over and over. It is one of the best gay news platforms on this planet. Guys and girls at Gay Star News, we're going to miss you first. Second, they said in very specific terms, the number one problem that they had was that the gay community doesn't support the gay community. We are watching that even on this drive in Wilton behind us.
Yeah.
We are seeing gay businesses. We're talking about it stressed over and over again.
Yeah.
Their second point is that businesses generally are in gay wash, that they're stepping in, but they step out only when it's convenient. And third, they point out that they're a gay media outlet and that they had virtually no support from what people perceived as competitors of theirs, and that they didn't have support. It got me thinking, which is why we wanted to report on this story. It's Happening Out is America's most popular live gay talk show now, and we've been on the air almost 1 year.
Woo!
We have grown to over 500, 500,000 viewers. Do you know how many competitors have talked about It's Happening Out, gay brands? Almost zero.
Dun, dun,
Zip.
dun.
And I thought about Gay Star News in terms of what they said. We have in this community Outclick and and South Florida Gay News and Watermark in Orlando. Nationally, we have The Advocate and Here Magazine. You know what they've said about us?
Zippo.
Zero. Gay Star News closes this week, and it's another of our gay businesses we lost. What do you think about that in terms of headlines?
I think it's sad. I think it's sad. And weren't we just talking about what last week about gay
with the flamingo we brought up.
Flamingo.
Yep.
And here we have this again. I really think that because of the fact that we are a small community, it's incumbent upon us even more to support each other because we really don't have as much that we can call our own and that are our safe harbors. And this is another example of a safe harbor in a media outlet.
Listen, I hate to say it, and I've said it before on the show. You know, as a lesbian, everyone always assumes that my restaurant is a lesbian restaurant, right? That I've made this restaurant solely for lesbians. No, I made this restaurant to feed people, and I'm sorry again. I have to pre-apologize, but I would never invest all my eggs in a lesbian basket or even in a gay basket because, I mean, that's like, I need insurance for that. You know what I mean? And right now, because it just seems like we're more committed to being in competition with each other than we are about building community.
Building bridges.
And I apologize. I want to come back to the other slide, if production will help us with the other slide from Gay Star News, quote from their final editorial. In the slide we're showing you, look at the third highlight here. To Josie's point, listen to what Gay Star News said in their final observation. And with us gone, please support our competitors, those who are left, or eventually there will be none left.
See, they're acknowledging us right there. I think this is them just getting out of the way for us to grow and make room for it's happening out as we expand. Join our team.
But my question is, do you think that it is possible that we can go the way of Gay Star News for the same reasons that they have gone?
I think it is a warning bell for us, which is why we put this in headlines. The gay community must respond and support the gay community.
It's important to not get complacent and just assume that the community is going to come through for you just because you're gay.
Yeah.
Okay, it goes the same way with voting. Okay, don't sleep on people.
Exactly.
Don't just assume that you're going to have the Democrat vote or the gay vote or whatever.
Those are our headlines this week. We want to move out of headlines now, and one of our segments that we talked about that we were going to discuss tonight. Did you know that God hates gays?
Yes.
No.
As a Christian at the table, I didn't realize until this week I learned that God hates me. Maybe not.
I was a little Catholic. They told me all the time.
Yeah, okay. Let us set this up by showing you one of the many pastors in America, what they're saying about the gay community. Watch this.
This fight has come to us, and you know what I say? Bring it on! Yeah. No homos will ever be allowed on this church as long as I'm the pastor here.
I'll put it this way. Any man who would have sex with a man would have sex with an animal. That is true. People thought it was too radical.
Now, to me, LGBT stands for let God burn them.
Right. But now they're starting to see, oh, wow, he's right.
But you say, well, it's LGBTQ. Well, then you could say, let God burn them quickly.
I think what makes our church special is just how the preaching is totally unfiltered.
Hey, what's up?
Gotta get live streaming for Facebook.
I'm here today to change the hearts of a lot of these kids within the church that are stuck, that just are blinded by the pastor. The point of Christianity is to love.
And hey, in the end times, before the second coming of Christ, we're gonna have to be ripping face about a bunch of perverts and homos. I didn't choose this fight. This fight has come to us, and you know what I say? Bring it on!
So are you guys homos or just sympathizers?
I'm a Bible-believing Christian. That's the difference. All of you guys pop out because you just say, I'm saved. So whatever you do, when you beat your wife, when you beat your kids, when you do what you want in sin, it's okay because you're already saved. That's why you're just a cop-out.
You know what? It's a sin not to beat your kids. It's a sin not to beat your kids. The Bible says, thou shalt beat.
Did Jesus Christ beat a kid?
Thou shalt beat.
Did Jesus Christ beat a kid?
The Bible says, thou shalt
beat man bun here. I'm done listening to man bun.
You sick homophobic son of a bitch. Talking about God striking down, he should strike down on your church and burn it to a crisp.
I can't even count how many people have threatened to come and kick my whatever and beat me up and rape me and violently rape my children. I mean, we got an email recently where they went into great detail how they're going to violently rape each child. They'd name the child and then say exactly what they're going to do to that child.
And kill you and kill all the people that believe in killing the LGBT.
Well, enjoy AIDS, I guess, right? I'm willing to lose everything. I'm willing to give up everything. I will never stop. I don't care what the cost is. I will never stop preaching the Bible.
Well, it's a tough topic, no question. And in fact, we have discussed among the hosts, we avoided God and Christianity and religion for a long, long time at this show. We did. We structurally and strategically avoided it because frankly, for me, I was a bit scared of it. And we just can't continue to ignore it, which is why we talk about it. One of the things that got us talking about it is we keep talking about the National Straight Pride events. It's going on in Boston. A second one is appearing in Modesto, California, a straight pride. This one wasn't such a joke as Boston was. We've reported repeatedly on Boston. In Modesto, California, they are calling it a National Straight Pride Coalition event, but based under a banner of Christianity. Let us show you a little bit about what they're getting ready to do in 2 weeks in Modesto, California. Watch this.
The flyer circulating on social media advertises Stanislaus County will host a Straight Pride event in Modesto's Graceta Park August 24th. The permit hangs in the balance.
I don't think that we need to give a permit for anything that when you go to the page, it talks about whiteness, it talks about Western civilization, it talks about being Caucasian.
The man behind it is Don Grundeman of the National Straight Pride Coalition. He says the parade is his group's cultural answer to their opponents.
Essentially, it boils down to two religious views of the world. One is Christianity, which is represented by heterosexuality, a culture of life, and its opponent is the LGBT movement, which is represented by an opposing religion and an opposing view of life.
In Modesto, views were mixed.
I think it's ridiculous.
If I'm here, I'll be there. We have to have a voice. And don't all people at some point feel that way?
Some may consider Grundeman's views and voice extreme.
There's no such thing as an LGBT Christian who stays LGBT.
Okay, well, as you can see, it's quite breathtaking. Before we get into the conversation about it, allow me, first and foremost, to say, first off, straight people are the allies in the gay community. Our long labels has an A in it, allies. Let's please not forget that. America, don't forget. Our straight community is allies of the LGBT community.
I don't think that's how that... We're going to have to talk about that on a segment.
Okay.
It's super relevant, Aaron.
All right. And second, you can be Christian and you can be gay.
Obviously.
Period. What do y'all think about what's going on in Modesto?
To anyone?
Well, before we get even into that, it's funny how 2 weeks ago this was going to be a rabbi who was anti-LGBTQ, but even that's not good enough because it's Jewish, and now we got to go back to the priests because we got to be an anti-Jew now on this show too. It's always got to be that way. It's fine.
No.
I sense it.
That was your whole point? That was your whole entire point?
Yeah,
the Jews have suffered, man.
That's how we've launched
You don't
this
know
subject.
suffering.
All right.
I
Other
think
thoughts?
Extremists on either side, be it the Christian over here or the leftist over here, it's not productive. I was raised an Episcopalian, and that church was the first to ordinate women, priests, and to welcome the gay community. I have had family members that were extremists like that sent me information about Exodus. They have evolved, they grew, and they accept. And there's hope for everybody that is extremist.
Okay. I think that's encouraging, to be honest with you, Andrew.
You know, I was brought up as a Baptist Christian, and I went to Sunday school and youth programs and all of it. And you know, like Andrew was saying, there's extremists on all sides. But the truth of the matter is that how can anyone who is a Christian actually come from such an egotistical place to believe that you have the audacity to speak for God? Now all of a sudden you're God. All I know is this, that we're all going to meet our judgment, and that day will come.
Josie, can I piggyback on that real quick? It's the New Testament that they're going after, not the Old Testament.
Okay.
Well, the reason that is the case is because this is the defining difference between organized religion versus someone's spirituality. You know, plenty of people that we know, my friend Power here being a prime example, you know, you embody the beliefs and the principles. The Christian church or the Catholic church, which is where my experience comes from as a kid, that wasn't their goal. Their goal was imperialism. Their goal was to take over and conquer. So they kind of convinced people whatever they had to convince people to go along with what they were saying, which included hating women, which included hating gays, you know, all of it. So I think we're in a time where this generation, at least I know my generation, has really changed their views on religion and how they participate in it.
Can I ask a question? Who, if you guys were going to this event, what do you think would be a response that you would get as somebody who's gay at this straight pride? What do you think would happen in this?
You'd be shouted down.
Hate.
You'd be shouted
Or
down.
violence, potentially.
Yeah. Even violence.
And that's surely not a Christian value.
Unchristian values.
I feel conflicted about this, and I feel very saddened about it. I was raised Seventh-day Adventist. And I don't tell a lot of people that. I was raised Seventh-day Adventist. I went to church every Saturday. Our Sabbath was from Friday to sundown on Saturday. And I also went to church school. So it was church school, private school from Monday through Friday, and then church. And I have left my religion. I have not lost my faith, but I have left my religion. And I feel that this segment is called Why Does God Hate Gays? Well, I love God, and I know that God loves me. So I don't... I know that God doesn't hate gays. I know that if you listen and if you subscribe to FAF Christians, FAF, Christians meaning full, full of ass-loving fucking shit Christians.
Just pull it out of there, girl. Whatever you call it.
Eventually found it. It'll come out.
You will believe this.
We'll provide the real title at the end of the show.
But you have to understand. You have to understand that the Bible that they're using, the Bible was also used to justify slavery.
Yeah.
The Bible has been used to justify a lot of horrific things in this world. So you cannot look at one person's definition of the Bible. All you can look to is your walk with the Lord, and that's how you
allow
Amen.
me to
Can I get an amen?
Hallelujah.
Allow me to take one more minute, just a minute, to flip the question of this segment. Why do gays hate God?
I think
because
it's
they feel that God hates them.
They're victimized.
But I know, God does not hate me.
Can we go to Aaron?
But I come from a place of faith.
Well, you're going to have to jump in. No,
I
you're going
want
to
to
have
hear
to
Aaron's
jump in.
response.
Okay.
I mean, I'm all like thrown off now.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of pain, and I'm like puberty voice crackling today. Y'all hear that? The testosterone is like doing its thing.
Not very butch.
I'm sorry, girl. I'm only halfway through puberty.
I'm gonna refocus.
But-
why do
because
gays
there's a lot
hate
of pain
God?
there. Because there's a lot of pain there. You have come to a place of acceptance of yourself and of you've rationalized that with your faith, which I thought that was a really powerful statement. I left my religion but not lost my faith. But you had to go through a journey to get to that point, I imagine. You know, not to speak for you, but I'm sure you had to go to a journey. You had to go through a journey and find that.
I hated my church growing up.
And not everybody gets to a place where they are able to accept it or whatever. And some people just kind of realize that maybe that was never for me in the first place. You know, I myself am not religious. I'm vaguely spiritual, but I don't really believe in God,
But
so to speak.
the point of my question that becomes the challenge is if it is illegitimate for this fanatical, that pastor, that preacher in Arizona, if we can recognize that is fanaticism against gays, why do we as a community also not recognize that we may have fanaticism against God and church?
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Why can't we understand both of those simultaneously?
Spirituality is out in the gay community because I think it has something to do as a byproduct of so much just
oppression
of pain. And the way we've dealt with it as a community is, we're like outlashing, you know what I mean? And right now it's like the spirituality needs to find its way back into the community because we have to believe that there's something bigger than us, guys. And that's just as human beings. Like, we all have to understand that there's something bigger than us that helps us, like, thrive to be. What are we living for?
That doesn't necessarily have to fall under the umbrella of spirituality. You know what I mean? I think that I live for a lot of purposes that are a lot bigger than me. I'm here for humanity. I'm here for positive change. I'm here for a lot of things, but none of that relates back to spirituality.
Let me try to focus that one step farther. A lot of the fanatical Christian religious point of view is that we can't be embraced because we talk about our sexuality. Why isn't it an acceptance? Why can't we believe that God loves our sexuality and whatever we represent in our sexuality, that's the way he created us and that is it.
We are God's children. We are God's children.
It has to be that way because sexuality is a lens through which you see everything. It's just a part of your life no matter what. You can't take away somebody's sexuality because it interferes with how they interfere with or interact with the world in every way. Your sexuality is your gender, is your sex, is your eyesight, is your hearing. It is a perceptive way to move through the world. Without it, you are losing something key and fundamental about who you are.
If I listened to your question very carefully just now and took it in, and I have to say, if I'm very honest as a gay man, I think that the reason that a lot of gays cannot embrace the fact that it's all right to be who we are when it comes to God is because I think that a lot of us still have that conflict within us that says that God says it's not all right.
Yeah, it's a program.
And because we believe, even though we outwardly say and we show this confidence that, oh, I'm fine with whatever, I'm fine with who I am, but in our hearts,
secretly,
we still have that conflict
we shame
because
ourselves
of how
secretly.
We secretly shame ourselves. And by even saying that, by even voicing that right now, I think it's a brave thing because a lot, and myself even still, to this day, I have to constantly fight this conflict that I have because I was raised so strongly to believe one thing, and I have to always tell myself, God made me this way in his own image, and he loves me no matter what.
Well, and as much as I respect that, that's your walk, that's your path, but at the same time, I don't want us to make it seem like walking away from religion is automatically a symptom of being ashamed of yourself. I'm far from ashamed to be who and what I am. I mean, look at me, I've come way past that point. But I'm just simply not religious. I just simply do not believe that. I believe in science. I believe in evolution. So it's different.
But for me, when I hear you say that, being a religious person, I immediately think in my head, I give you as honest an answer as I can give you, that is completely okay, and I am not going to judge you for you not having the beliefs that I have.
There's the difference. Are you going to judge somebody else for having their beliefs?
No.
That's the difference. It's not a Christian or not Christian thing. It's a personality thing. Are you a good enough person to just see other people?
And I would like to point out that really it was an act of courage. It was an act of courage, America, for Al and It's Happening Out to even bring this topic because since day one, I have been asking and begging for us to actually confront, which is what is a very hard topic for any gay show to confront and to talk about, which is gays and religion.
Yeah, exactly.
So
right.
The question, Aaron just posed a question, but the question is, can we as gay Christians be respected for the fact that we actually do believe in,
even in our own community,
right? Even because we get a lot of backlash because of the fact that we actually still are people of faith.
Yeah, I've seen you go through that. That's opened my eyes a lot.
The conversation's been very good. I'm going to move on. One of the things that I will tell you is because of the amount of time that we've discussed this on both sides. We were going to do a follow-up on the sexuality conversation we had this week. I can't do that now because we won't be able to dedicate the time to it that I really want to. But next week, let me assure you, we're going to show you some clips about sexuality in the community and have a conversation. You'll want to tune in next week as we do that.
They're mostly safe
to learn about
I
sexuality.
want to move on to Happening Now. Happening Now is a segment that we do of breaking news. And of course, there is breaking news going on right now.
Only always.
The president has flown today to Akron and to El Paso.
Akron?
To, I'm sorry.
El Paso?
Dayton. Thank you.
Dayton.
Oh my goodness, I did.
Oh my God, you're
I did the exact same mistake that the president did.
no, the Biden did.
To
Sleepy Joe.
all of them did. Can we agree? All. To
Not
Dayton
second.
and to El Paso. All right. First, this morning at 1:30 a.m., the president initiated what is considered the ongoing tweet storm. And the tweet storm had to do with Beto O'Rourke. We want to begin by showing you the video of this breaking news and what's happening as we speak, happening now in America. Watch this.
President Trump. He's under pressure facing protests as he heads to Dayton and El Paso today to meet with families and first responders after those deadly mass shootings. It could be a tense day. The president already targeting his critics on Twitter. And Kira Phillips is at the White House with the latest. Good morning, Kira.
Good morning, George. Well, some members of the El Paso community not necessarily rolling out the welcome mat for the president's visit, citing his history of inflammatory rhetoric. So now, as he prepares to deliver another message of unity, President Trump is also ramping up attacks on one of El Paso's own.
Hours ahead of his trip to the border town of El Paso, Texas, President Trump lashing out at former Congressman Beto O'Rourke, a staunch critic of the president and one of the most high-profile members of this grieving community.
People in El Paso, by and large, do not want to see him here, understand that he is part of the problem, part of how we got to this point.
The president tweeting O'Rourke has a phony name to indicate Hispanic heritage, telling the 2020 Democratic candidate to be quiet. O'Rourke firing back in a tweet of his own, saying, 22 people in my hometown are dead after an act of terror inspired by your racism. El Paso will not be quiet, and neither will I. Those comments from the president happening on the heels of his own calls for unity amid tragedy just 2 days ago.
Now is the time to set destructive partisanship aside, so destructive, and find the courage to answer hatred with unity, devotion, and love.
Meanwhile, this morning, many people in the El Paso community are uneasy about the president's return to the city.
Why would he want to come? He has promoted a lot of this, all this anger. He has promoted it across the nation, and it needs to stop. It needs to stop.
On the front page of the El Paso Times, the biggest newspaper in this predominantly Hispanic community, an open letter written by the paper's editor, inviting the president to, quote, change your view of our border community, asking him to experience this city with a deep tradition of racial harmony, and writing, the hatred that came to us came from an outsider. It did not come from El Paso. Today's visit marks the president's second trip to El Paso this year. In February, he held a rally talking about undocumented immigrants and the border wall, even with El Paso being one of the 3 safest major cities in America.
Well, to be honest with you, I've never seen tweets in my entire life like what has happened today. And normally a president of the United States visits a catastrophic incident site, which is what El Paso and Ohio is, and he brings comfort. I have never seen so much division that goes on. Let me give you 2 examples. When he was in Ohio, he slammed Senator Brown, Sherrod Brown, by making some slurs about the senator and how he did in running for president. Senator Brown, after the president arrived in El Paso, tweeted, and this is an exact quote late this afternoon. "I've said before, Donald Trump is a bully, and he bullies and is a coward. I do not care what he says about me, but the people of Dayton deserve a president more focused on protecting them from gun violence than protecting his own ego." Then the president started the tweet storm this morning by opening up by saying, Beto, as you see in this slide that we're providing of the tweet, Beto, in parentheses, a phony name to indicate Hispanic heritage, and then goes on to attack Beto O'Rourke, and then Beto O'Rourke's response. To me, as we open this conversation, I am not talking about guns. We've talked about that. We've talked about guns. I'm talking about a nation that needs to heal in incidents and situations like this. And there are U.S. senators in Ohio in flames, and a mayor of the city that the president went to in flames as we speak, happening now. What do y'all think about what's going on between these politicians and the president?
President Trump is absolutely correct about Beto, and he's pandering to the Latino community. He is absolutely correct on everything that he tweets. The psychosis of hatred is beyond the liberal media. If President Trump gave everyone in this room $10 million, you'd want $15 million. This has got to stop. He is trying to bring this country together, but he's resistant by the hate media. Wait. Of the hate media, they have never given him a break. This man works for free. And I don't think anybody sitting at this table, I would never work for you for free, you or you. This man is working for our country 20 hours a day, and all he gets is shit.
Andrew,
and we've got to move beyond that.
Before we get into the conversation that I know all of you want to pose, I, again, am always trying to illuminate a dark room. What is the point at 1:30 a.m., the President of the United States basically calling the former mayor of El Paso, where the shooting took place, "You're not Latin enough. You're not Mexican enough. You're not Mexican American enough"? What is his point by the slur?
Because Beto is riding on the coattails of being an Irish American pretending to be a Latino.
He's not Latino?
Beto
is
Irish.
I understand.
But he's riding on the coattails of trying to pretend he's a full.
But he's wait, one more second. Allow me a follow-up question. Allow me a follow-up question. Wait, I want a follow-up question.
One quick question.
Okay.
He's number 6, and all these 22 people running out at 2%. He has no credibility.
A follow-up question. He was
I can't wait.
And is the most famous mayor in history of El Paso, the city where the shooting takes place. Doesn't he deserve respect, period, in a time of crisis when the President of the United States visits?
Yes, and don't you respect the President for trying to build here instead of Beto O'Rourke saying, fuck you, President?
No, you're doing your job. Of course you're here.
All right, off to the races, everyone. I tried.
No. Okay. First of all, I'd like to say something. Al always refers to this story about how Secret Service came to my house. It's always, made as a joke, but it's actually not a joke. It actually did happen.
Yeah.
And how Secret Service came to my house was because I had one time made a post on Facebook, and the post, yes, I will admit, crossed the line. And the next day, the post crossed the line when it came to a joke about President Trump being killed.
That's not a joke.
The joke crossed the line, and when it came to President Trump,
they should have showed up at your door.
Yes, they showed up at my door, and they held me responsible for my words the same way we have to hold Donald Trump responsible for his words when he's in Florida. Excuse me, don't talk over me. Don't talk over me. Don't talk over me. Don't talk over me, because I'm gonna get the last word. Okay? The same way we have to hold Donald Trump responsible for his words and his rhetoric. When he was in the panhandle of Florida in May, laughing when one of his members of his Klan rally sat there and said that we should shoot immigrants. He laughed that off. When he said that he was going to pay for the legal fees for the guy, the hillbilly, that punched the black guy at his rally when he was running. Yeah, that was an example of him promoting racism, okay? When he said that Nazis and white nationalists were fine people. Those are things that he does consistently to show that he is on the side of white nationalists. So we have to hold him responsible for his rhetoric and his actions. The same way the government was going to hold me responsible. The same way you just said, oh, they should have showed up at my door. Yeah, we should hold him responsible too. Get him out of here.
All right.
Fuck him.
All right. Now we heard other thoughts that we have, or is that enough about Beto O'Rourke? One last thought as it relates to what we're watching today. Because again, I've asked the host, we talked about guns separately. This is a different issue. It's how politicians are communicating with each other, initiating a presidential tweet at 1:35.
It's like VH1.
Psychosis, hatred.
Is anyone concerned? I posed this question in our production office this afternoon. Is anyone concerned that we are in the eve of the next 15 months where there could be, since Vietnam, we could have open rioting and violence?
Well, I'd love to tell you about it if I could get a sentence out.
Okay, we'll try then.
But, seriously, the United States is not special in this, okay? The amount of guns that we're able to get access to is unique, but this is literally the story straight out of your history textbook of 100 civil wars just like it that the U.S. has interfered in or instigated. Okay, this is how civilizations rise and fall. And you know what? Maybe, I'm sorry to say it, but maybe this is where we fucking fall. And that's painful and scary to say, but this is how this shit happens, is that two polarized sides go completely more and more divided until they're literally battling each other to the death. And either the regime gets overthrown or the regime wins, one or the other. But this is not a new thing. We're just used to seeing it in our TV screens, in some other country, some mythical other country, and not in our backyards.
I'm
and
curious,
we will fail
Andrew,
because of the five of you.
And Andrew, I'm curious to. That's a soundbite that doesn't land. First off, I want to make sure you know that the panelists are not the one that are inciting a civil war. But to his observation, we are going to fight to the death. That these two conflicting point of views are going to turn violent. What do you think about that? Is it possible?
No, because our country's stronger than that, and our leadership.
And why do you think that? I'm honestly, I'm curious to why you have that optimism.
Because of the history of our country, and the wars that we fought before, and we've won them all. President Trump is a uniter, as much as everybody here, the five of you, think he's a divider, and you all will be shaking my hand and saying, I'm sorry on November 4th.
Why, though? What's your backup to that? What's your evidence to that?
And sorry for what?
Give it some backbone. Tell me why.
What do you want to know? Tell me.
Tell me why you have the kind of trust in him that we all wish we could have in a president.
Because I have an open mind, and I do research, and I listen to both sides.
That's just telling us we don't do research and that we don't have open minds. So clearly, you think none of us have open minds or do research ever?
I don't. I think liberals have very closed minds.
I'm going to.
Ironic. A liberal would never listen and agree with a point of view if I had every A, B, C, D, and F, G.
Here's the most difficult thing of my job as moderator. It's happening out. In this instance, I appreciate the various views that all of you bring. One of the things that I hope over the next 15 months we can do is we can continue to refine and recycle down and more specifically to our conclusion, because we're at a moment which I don't want to move any farther on. I asked the question based on Aaron's observation. This is historically and culturally what happens. There is ultimate conflict between two parties, and it worsens and worsens and worsens into civil war, and ultimately one party side or the other wins and conquers the other. I hear your optimism. I do. My point is going to be, why doesn't anyone else on the other side hear that optimism? And that's what we must find. You must help us in the coming weeks and months to help us find why you have, and your point of view and perspective has that optimism. Because as of today, in Ohio and El Paso, there is not that optimism from a large percentage of America. Let's move on. Finally tonight, before we move into our final game, we have something we want to show you of one of our partners, and that is a fantastic restaurant here in South Florida that we encourage all of you to visit, and that is Almazan Empanadas. Watch this. Hey, Napoleon. We have got to get some food for the host, and so I brought you to this new restaurant that's open. It's called Almazan Empanadas. Do you like empanadas?
I do like empanadas, and we're here. Let's give it a go.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
Hey, Al, how have you been doing?
Good. 2 empanadas for each host, 5 hosts, and do a selection for everybody. The guava and cheese, that's right. And the mushroom and brie. Thank you. All right.
Wow. Woo! Oh my gosh. This is what
awesome.
community smells like.
That's exactly. That's awesome. You can do mushroom and brie. That's my favorite. You can do beef, Cuban. They have a special that starts at the end of the month. If you come on Sundays and you order 4 empanadas, it's bottomless mimosas.
Okay.
They do fresh deliveries, so that's great for me, so they can deliver to my house, and of course, full catering. Almazan Empanadas. We are really loving it. We encourage everyone try Almazan Empanadas. Josie introduced it to me. I have adopted her favorite, which is the guava cream cheese. It is absolutely awesome.
Yep.
And my favorite is the mushroom
Brie.
Gouda cheese. Brie.
Uh-huh.
Mushroom brie. It's absolutely awesome.
Yep.
All right. Tonight, to finish the show, we're going to play a game called Shag, Marry, Chop. Now, it's very funny because Power already told you the Secret Service knocked on his door. When we first played this game, let's return to the fall of 2018. When we played this game, we called this game Fuck, Marry, Kill. And unfortunately, we played Donald Trump and Donald's 2 children. And you can't play Fuck, Marry, Kill with Trump names in it. And we got taken down almost instantaneously.
We tried to
So
stop.
now we play Shag, Marry, Chop. All right? So that's what we're getting ready to do. Shag, Marry, Chop. All right. We decided because of the sexuality conversation last week. By the way, did you know that bisexuality doesn't exist? We're going to return to that next week. It's gay or straight. Andrew helped us understand that as the new paradigm. It's gay or straight. There is no 26 letters in our community, and we're going to talk more about that next week. Make sure you tune in. Honestly, the finest conversation this cast has ever had, and we're going to show you a bit of that and a bit more. But in honor of that, let's do Shag, Marry, Chop with bisexual men.
Oh my
all
gosh,
the women,
yes.
all the men can participate equally. Here we go. Shag, Marry, Chop. Niall DeMarco, actor, model, deaf activist. Ezra Miller, actor, plays the Flash in Justice League. And Keenan, actor, plays Kid Flash on the CW show. All right. Who wants to start? Shag, Marry, Chop.
All right. I think I'm going to go with Shag, Ezra Miller. He's a lot of fun. He has good eye contact. I think he'd be good in bed.
Doesn't he have a strange face, though?
He has a super strange face, but that never stops anybody with you, so I don't think it should for him. And then I'm also going to marry Niall DeMarco. He's always been so sexy. He was the first male winner of America's Next Top Model. And I mean, look at him. Look at how charming he is, and he just supports great causes. I would do everything with him.
Or is that a snake?
I'm looking for his snake. I promise you.
Wait.
Come on, a little VPL, a little
Napoleon,
something.
I'm so disappointed in you because you're not watching close enough. All right? And
Penis,
then
penis,
you're going
penis,
to
penis,
chop.
penis.
You're going to be chopping Lonsdale.
I can't even look off of Niall, so whoever's
Okay.
next, I'll chop.
All right. Well, make sure you watch Niles because he
Yum.
touches himself totally inappropriately and in all exposure.
All right. You'll have to send me that file.
All right. No. You're going to see it right in this video.
For
Who
all
else?
America.
Shag, Marry, Chop.
All right, I'm gonna shag Niall DeMarco because he's really hot, but he's also probably full of himself. and I can't put up with that for more than one night.
But
how do you have sex with anybody?
I mean, I can put up with
that
it for
is
the
a
whole
cop
night,
out. I
but-
can't put up with that more than 10 hours tops.
Well, I can put up with it for the whole 10 hours, though, is the difference. So, just saying.
I'll shut up now, America.
I'm gonna marry, believe it or not, I'm gonna marry Keenan. He's kind of cute. He's young for my taste, but yeah, he's got something kind of like hipster,
Australian?
you know, free spirit, crop circle-y going on about him.
Crop circle-y?
Yeah, like he
Oh
probably
my
shows up in a drum circle. You know, we'd smoke some like hash, and it'd be a good time. Ezra Miller, you good chops. I can't deal with all that like extraness.
All right. Somebody else.
I'm changing the rules.
That sounds like a Republican.
I'm probably going to...
I am marrying
I'll leave that
Niall,
soundbite.
and I am chopping Ezra and Kenyon.
You're going to chop two, is
Yes.
what you're saying. Okay. Well, because you're the token minority on the panel, they'll allow you to do that. All right?
They wouldn't
Somebody
sleep
else.
with me either.
Well, I will shag Niall DeMarco because
There he is.
Do
Watch. Look right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I will
Totally erect in that hole.
Yes, and that's one reason why.
There it
Also
is.
because he can definitely handle that anaconda, so he can handle mine. And
Wait, dude,
Done.
you can sell that all
Done.
you want.
it's true tea.
I'm not talking about the size. I'm
It's true
talking
tea.
about the position. Allegedly.
I'm a flip flop girl. And then I'm gonna right? And then I'm gonna marry. I'm gonna
That's
marry.
been our show, ladies.
There's the blooper reel. All right.
I'm gonna marry Ezra Miller because it looks like him and I would we'd get along great together. What with the heels and the makeup and we would get along good together. I don't even know who this child is. So
You don't
he
mind
gets-
that he's
he
a little
gets
prettier.
chopped.
You don't mind that he's a little prettier than you in makeup.
No, I don't mind at all.
Oh, confession.
And
No, I don't
Josie?
mind at all.
I'm gonna shag this Niall kid,
Yeah, you
and sounds fun, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I would definitely marry Ezra because that seems more long lasting.
Interesting. Yeah.
And then the other guy. Sorry, kid, man. You're too young for me, man. I'm like not
All right.
young and
All right.
Is it just me, or did the first guy look a little
Suck
like
my
Alejandro?
wife.
Niall? And he was fantastic.
I don't have my
Top
glasses
model.
on, so I'm blind, but he
was-
looks a little Alejandro-ish to me. Up there.
Production team, everybody.
Oh, it's a compliment, bro. You know it.
All right. Right in America, we'll tell you what that's all about. All right, well, that's our game, Shag, Marry, Chop. Tune in. We play it frequently. Woo! All right, we're at the end of the show, and we always end our show. We start with alcohol, and we end with food. Yeah. All right, and we bring in, I hear Thomas is here. I haven't seen, Thomas, I haven't seen you in weeks, dude. Talking to this microphone, I have fallen in love. I touch his arm. Oh, my goodness. And wait, you're going to show me cookies? Come on,
Al,
dude.
can Joe Biden this thing? Come on.
Right. All right. Well, this is Thomas. He's with Jets Pizza here in South Florida. How have you been?
Pretty good. Y'all miss the rainbow?
I don't know. Did we miss the rainbow? Because I don't know where this is.
The rainbow in his head.
Oh, yeah. All right. All right.
Oh, I thought you meant the rainbow in his pants.
You missed us last week. We talked about bisexuality. It does not exist at all.
Then I don't exist. Got you there.
All right.
And
well,
there you have it, America.
There you
The
have it,
answer you've
America.
wanted for weeks.
Good job.
Thomas always brings us from Jets Pizza. Good seeing you, dude. And it's a delicious pizza. If you're here in South Florida, you got to order it. It's quite amazing. All right, that's our show. We thank you very much. We think, by the way, there's all kinds of gossip here. We've hit a live number posting in Facebook that we have never seen before. So we thank you for that, and we have great hopes. Please share us. If you've liked what you've seen tonight, share it with your friends and tell them about what we're talking about in the gay community. It's everything. It's everything. We talk about everything, and you saw that tonight.
And everyone.
So and everyone, exactly. So we're going to say goodnight, and we're going to start with my friend, Andrew Brett.
In the words of Rodney King, can't we all just get along? God bless President Trump. God bless the United States, and good night, and thanks for watching.
All right. And my friend Napoleon plays.
Good night, my gamer friends. I hope we have a chance to play together sometime.
All right. And my friend Chef Josie.
You've heard tonight, as a country, we're divided. As a community, we're divided. It's important to continue watching so we can have some common sense conversations about a lot of issues that affect all of our lives. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.
And I, again, have to say a special personal thanks to Chef Josie. She's a good friend of mine. Her wife, Marcy, is working her ass off while you're sitting here playing. I mean,
I look
come
cute,
on.
though. I look cute.
She's serving all of these people. There's a
Marcy
big,
is
huge
a
crowd
delight.
here.
That's
But again, we always thank, I thank Josie, I thank Marcy, Bubbles and Pearls here on the famous Wilton Drive in South Florida. It's the gayest place on planet Earth. And if you wanted something really cool for dinner, this is the place
Thank
to
you,
come.
man.
Congratulations to you. And my friend Aaron Phoenix.
Good night, gender fuckers. And to anybody else who's feeling a little bit like you may have a target on your back right now, whether it's for being Latino, for being queer, for being transgender, and if you feel like you're being hunted by hateful ideologies, just know that you're not alone and that we're going to get through this shit.
Yeah. Nicely said. And to my friend who looks a little different tonight, my friend Sean Palacios.
You're like the grandfather that has 8 jokes.
America. Sean Palacios is Power's best friend, and they look exactly the same. In fact, we think they are the same person.
Get it? It's a
Racism.
Depending on which show that's being broadcast. To my friend Power Infiniti.
Good night, children. And, you know, it's important to watch because, well, I'm not just dope on social media. I'm dope in real life. So watch us every single week. We're here to rally our community, to activate, to stand up, and to get out there and vote.
And let me, yes, vote. November 3rd, 2020, memorized in my head. And let me do a shout out for Power. Power is not in drag tonight.
She's not.
And the reason is...
But Al is.
And a congratulations to Power. We had a conversation. Power is the new entertainment director at Tampa Pride, one of the best prides in the United States.
Yes.
And the board of directors meetings is the first Tuesday of each month. And the question was, do we get Power without makeup so he can go to the board meeting at Tampa Pride, or do we miss him? And we decided, no, dude, we want you sitting right here with us. And we thank him very much for being here
Serving
tonight.
us Trish.
Right, exactly. So finally, America, we hope you find this important. It's Happening Out is coming up on our anniversary next month. On the 20th of September, we will have been on the air for 1 year.
What?
1 year. When we started, we joke repeatedly. We had 69 people watch the first night of the show. Get it? 69? We have grown to the largest, most viewed gay talk show in America. We have fought and scratched and fought and scratched. And we thank you for staying right along with us and sharing us. We constantly tell you, we think that there is gay culture. Even with all of the problems that we face in America, you've heard them repeatedly tonight on so many different subjects, we still think there is gay community. And these 6 people and the production staff at It's Happening Out are committed to helping us find it. If you believe that is true, and we think it is, tune in every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock for It's Happening Out.
Good night.
Good night, America.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.